guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. So today I've got another Planet Zoo video for you, and I am so excited to be sharing this video with you because it is an enclosure for my favourite animal in the game, and after watching all of the animations for the Fennec Fox, I have decided that they are also my favourite animal in general at the moment. FYI, before I get into too much of the voiceover, I have added a load of cinematic shots of the Fennec Foxes and of the finished build as well at the end of the video, so if you're interested in having a look at those, then stick around if you want to see them because they are so adorable. Honestly, I just couldn't get over it. I knew that I loved the way that they looked in the game after seeing the pack trailer and everyone else's footage in several Planet Zoo videos that I've been watching, but after watching them in my own game, just watching them run around for a long period of time, I can't get over how cute they are. They are just so adorable. So yeah, I'm really excited to be sharing this with you. Anyway, this is a build for my African Grassland sandbox mode zoo called Anami Zoo, which has a contemporary architectural style with this white and light timber colour scheme, which you have probably seen a lot of in the last few of my speed builds, and that's because I've been adding all of the animals that I've been building for using the new African ZLC. I've been adding them to this African zoo. So in this video I am building obviously a Fennec Fox enclosure, and I'm building it within a nocturnal house, and I've left room for an aardvark enclosure, so the aardvarks will be in the enclosure to the left of the building, and the Fennec Foxes I will be finishing off in this video, which is to the right of this building. And I also haven't added any exhibit animals yet, and I've left spaces for 3 exhibit animals towards the back of the nocturnal house as well. So yeah, they've not been added yet, but I fully intend to add them in the next video, which will probably be an aardvark video. And I also haven't uploaded the blueprint to this building yet, although I finished the exterior of the build in this video and I've sort of tidied up the interior as well. I've just obviously left certain enclosures blank, but yeah, I haven't uploaded the blueprint because I figured I would upload it in one go once I've added everything and finished everything off. So yeah, keep an eye out for a separate aardvark habitat speed build because I will be posting the link in there once it's been completed. So in terms of the exhibit animals, I have no idea if there are any African nocturnal exhibit animals in the game, so I'll have to do a little bit of research, but if not, I will just add some African animals that live in the same sorts of areas as the aardvarks and the Fennec Foxes, maybe so it looks like they're there as context for the big animals rather than because they are themselves nocturnal. But if you have any preferences or suggestions for exhibit animals to go in this building, please comment them down below because I would love your input. That would be really helpful. I think the options that we've got in terms of African exhibit animals include the scarab beetle, which obviously came with the African pack. We've also got the puff adder, the giant tiger land snail, the Goliath beetle, and the Goliath frog as well. So if you have any preferences out of those guys, then yeah, let me know down in the comments below and I will add them for you because I currently don't have a preference. I'd quite like to use the scarab beetle maybe because it came with a new pack, and I think maybe the snake because it's, I don't know, but I get the impression it's quite deserty and that might go well nicely with the Fennec Fox, for example. But yeah, I haven't decided yet, so let me know what your preferences are. So in terms of my Fennec Fox enclosure, the game actually said that although the Fennec Foxes had enough space overall, they were severely lacking hard shelter space, which is quite annoying because I based the building size on what the Zoopedia said in terms of their overall space, and I don't think they have any recommendations for stuff like hard shelter. I mean, I might be getting that wrong, it might be there and I'm just not looking in the right place, so if that's the case, please let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, if it was there, I would have been able to factor that into my build, so I obviously wasn't able to do that, and I didn't go back and change it because I'm building in sandbox mode and I don't actually have animal welfare turned on, so it doesn't really matter to me personally if some of the settings are slightly off. I mean, I was happy with the enclosure overall, so I kind of left it as it was, but I just thought I'd warn you in case you were planning on downloading this build, or in case you were planning on basing your build off this, or you were just building your own Fennec Fox enclosure, just a warning that but they actually need quite a lot of indoor space. So yeah, I was surprised by that because I based this build on enclosures that I'd seen in person in real zoos, real Fennec Fox enclosures. So yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to me. But yeah, the settings in Planet Zoo always encourage you to have bigger enclosures than you tend to see in real life. So I should have known better, shouldn't I? But it's always the case. I also haven't actually seen how the Fennec Foxes cope in this enclosure with guests around either, because I know that they are supposed to be shy animals. That's what it says in the settings in game. And although I used as much one-way glass as I possibly could, so I used one-way glass in the indoor section, and I also used one-way glass, so you'll see in a minute I added one-way glass to the barrier in the outdoor section as well. Although I did use that, there are a lot of short walls at the front of the outdoor enclosure, so I worry that they might get quite stressed if there's lots of people viewing, because they'll be able to see over the top of the barriers. But they do have that indoor area that they can get away from the guests, so hopefully that's okay. But yeah, I haven't tested it out yet, so that might be quite annoying. But I don't know, I just like the way that the barriers look outside the front of the building, and I thought that if they were any taller it would make the building look really, really odd. So I kind of kept it like that, bearing in mind that it is sandbox mode, and yeah, I don't actually have like animal stress or anything like that turned on in my game. So sorry about that if you're planning on downloading it and that's caused you some issues. But yeah, I feel like I should explain the layout of the build a little bit, because it can be a bit confusing with the footage jumping around and you not knowing who can access which sections of the build. So in terms of what the guests can access, they only have one room basically, and this is the room that you can view the indoor habitat for the Fennec Foxes and the indoor habitat for the aardvarks as well. And the guests also have 3 circular windows into the 3 separate exhibit sections. So yeah, they can't go into any of the other rooms. The rest is purely backstage areas for the keepers. So they have backstage access to all of the exhibit animals around the back to avoid the guests, as well as separate access to the 2 bigger habitats. And then I also added a few facility buildings next to the Fennec Fox enclosure, which has a staff room, 2 small keeper huts, and a power generator as well. So you'll see me add that later, and it's like a separate timber building just off to the right of the nocturnal house. And one thing that really quite annoys me about Planet Zoo, and as I say that, there are very, very few things that annoy me about Planet Zoo, because you may already know I play The Sims 4 quite often, and yeah, in general, Frontier and Planet Zoo is just much better at responding to players and giving players what they want in terms of updates and content, and also dealing with patch fixes and bug fixes and stuff like that. Yeah, just in general, I'm really, really happy with how Frontier are and how they deal with stuff. But one thing that does annoy me, and it might just be me being an idiot, which is very likely, and I might be missing some secret settings options somewhere, but I don't actually think you can use indoor lighting during the day in Planet Zoo. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below, but it makes absolutely no sense to me, because you have indoor lighting on all the time in real life. In like toilet buildings or gift shops or restaurants and stuff like that, you would always have lights on during the day, even if you can have natural light as well. And it makes sense that you can't have outdoor lighting on, and that doesn't come on until nighttime. That makes sense. For that to be the case for all lighting, including indoor lighting, just makes no sense to me, because yeah, you should be able to have artificial lighting on in a building like this, shouldn't you? You should be able to see, like around the back of this build, there's absolutely no natural lighting coming into the building, so it would really, really need some artificial lighting, but that's just not an option as far as I know. So yeah, let me know if I'm being really, really stupid and I've missed a really obvious setting, but I think that's the case, and it was really, really bugging me in this build. But yeah, anyway, rant over. Obviously the Fennec Foxes were a new addition to the game that came with the new Africa DLC, and I have to say that I think this pack is my favourite pack that we've ever had, largely because of the animals that came with it. We did also get a lot of good building pieces as well though, so we got a load of off-grid flexicolour plaster pieces, which I love. They're super, super handy and go really, really well with this sort of contemporary theme that I've got in this zoo. But yeah, mainly just the animals that we got. I'd have to say I am absolutely in love with all of them. I think they are all so cute, and the Fennec Foxes especially, I think they've just outdone themselves with the quality of the animations and just the little cute moments of them interacting with all of the enrichment items and interacting with each other as well. They're just so cute. So yeah, like I say, I knew I would love the Fennec Foxes, but I didn't realise I would love them as much as I did. I got a load of really good shots of them playing with the log enrichment and the bubble maker as well, so stick around for those if you're interested. And I honestly just couldn't believe how cute they were in game. I waited until they had babies as well, and I did film a little bit of footage of the babies, but they were so speedy and they just wouldn't stay still, so I'm not sure how usable that footage was. But still, the adults are so cute that you don't really need to see the babies because you can just enjoy the adults on their own. And looking back at this footage, I realised that I wasn't the most efficient at building this shape of build, especially that sort of circular addition to the build. I did the sort of timber overall shape first, and then I individually added like the plaster pieces and the trim on top after I'd already done the main shape, which I feel like is the least efficient way of doing it as possible. Yeah, it didn't take me too long still, but yeah, I think if you were going to create this from scratch yourself, I would recommend adding all of the plaster and trim to, yeah, just to that one timber item and then multiplying it round in a circle, if that makes sense. So yeah, just some advice if you're going to do the same thing as me, but sometimes you need to see what the shape is going to look like and then what you do with all the other areas of the build before you then decide how you're going to change bits here and there and add the trim and stuff like that and what you want that to look like. So that's why I waited until the end, and it took me a little bit longer to do. It's a little bit fiddly, but yeah, sometimes it just needs to be done. But in case you were interested, I'm obviously working on this sandbox mode zoo and Anami zoo at the minute, and I will link a playlist for Anami zoo down in the description box below and in the video. But I'm also working on a Canadian zoo as well. I mean, I've put that on hold a little bit as I'm going to town on all of these African animals in Anami zoo, but I will get back to building in my Canadian zoo once the new pack excitement has calmed down a little bit. But I will link the playlist to my Canadian zoo down in the description box below in case you're interested in checking that out. And I'm also very much planning on adding a franchise mode zoo to my channel at some point. I really want to play in franchise mode because I do miss the zoo management aspect of the game. I really love that kind of gameplay. Also because you get to interact with the animals more, I feel like you get to spend more time looking at the animals and actually dealing with them rather than just building without the animals in game, because yeah, most of this video doesn't actually have any Fennec Foxes in it, does it? It's just me building and then I add them at the end. But yeah, the plan for that is I want to create franchise mode zoo that kind of looks not necessarily a budget, but reflects the kind of zoos that I would see in the UK, so zoos that I'm more familiar with. It would probably have less of a strict architectural theme, and it will be a bit more mixed and general in terms of its architecture, and more realistic as well in terms of the materials used for each exhibit. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below of that idea and whether or not you'd be interested. The reason why I want to do that is because I am really enjoying playing in these two themed sandbox mode zoos. Like obviously I've themed them around the continent that I've chosen, so this one is African and it's very much a contemporary zoo, so all of the exhibits are for African animals and are done in the same style. And obviously for the Canadian zoo it's pretty much the same sort of idea, but for a traditional Canadian style zoo with Canadian animals. But yeah, I just want to do a zoo where I can mix and match animals from different continents and different biomes as well, and maybe I can make each individual enclosure more thematic rather than a general theme for the entire zoo. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure when I'll be able to start that because I'm definitely feeling in the groove for this particular zoo. Like obviously we've just had the African DLC come out, so I'm really excited about adding to Anami zoo, and I've also got a lot of Sims content to balance as well, so I try and make it as balanced as I possibly can in terms of the type type of videos that you guys see, because I realise not everyone here wants to watch Sims content, and also not everyone here wants to watch Planet Zoo content, so I have to please everyone. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below whether or not you'd be interested in a franchise zoo, because personally I really like watching franchise mode content, but not everyone might. So yeah, let me know what your preference is. But yeah, we're pretty much coming up to the end of the video now. As I said, keep watching so you can see the cinematic shots that I've added of the Fennec Foxes and the screenshots of the build at the end, because they are so cute and it is so worth it. They're absolutely adorable, and I got some really good shots of them playing as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you thought of the build and the video down in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the new pack and which is your favourite animal from the new pack. Is your favourite animal a Fennec Fox like me? Because yeah, I'm obsessed with these little guys. They are so adorable. Has anyone actually seen these guys in real life either? Because they're not actually that common in zoos. I've seen them in a couple of African themed zoos, because I basically go to tons of different zoos, so odds are I will have encountered them at least once. But yeah, they're not actually that common. You don't see them in many zoos unless it's a particularly big zoo or a themed zoo like I said. So yeah, let me know if you've seen these guys before and how you think that they match up to Fennec Foxes in real life, or whether or not you're a fan of them in real life. They are obviously largely nocturnal, hence why I've put them in this nocturnal house, and so every time I've seen them in real life they have actually been asleep during the day, and I've only been able to view them in an indoor section of their enclosures. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear if you've had any different experiences of viewing these cute little guys, maybe outdoors or when they're slightly more active, and where you saw them as well. If you saw them in a really good zoo or with a really nice enclosure, I would love to know where that was so that I could do my research for future. So yeah, hopefully you liked the video. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. If you liked it, please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye guys.
This one is